Hi, over here we have Yang Yang, Director of Insurance Business from Monee. So Yang, I'm going to ask you some questions. So how will advances in technology redefine the role of insurers in the future?
Okay, I think redefine is really a big word, but definitely all the insurance companies are chasing for advances in technology. So maybe before that, just to introduce the company that I'm working for a little bit, because I believe not so many people heard about that. So Monee is actually the financial service arm under the group. Under the group, some of the more household names that you might heard is Garena for gaming and Shopee. Actually, Monee was called C-Money before, and we just did the rebranding on 8th of May this year. Actually, it's a quite cute name and very straightforward. And hopefully that we can better the lives of individual and businesses through financial services and technology. So within Monee, we have an insurance unit, which I'm working for. So within this unit, we have distribution businesses as well as underwriting businesses in some of the markets to underwrite the products that we feel comfortable with and we think that will deliver value to the customers. So back to the question, what advances that in technology that will redefine the role of insurance companies? I would say, first of all, what are the advances in technology we're talking about nowadays? A lot of people are talking about AI, but AI, for me, is actually the second layer of advances that we should chase after we solve more fundamental tech issues on the bottom. So number one advance in technology is actually on the systems that the insurance companies are using to serve their external partners, customers, as well as their internal employees. So they need to enhance that first in terms of sustainability, connectivity, as well as automation. The second one is actually the data processing. So a lot of insurance companies already start their journey on AI, especially Gen AI nowadays. Actually, before that, a lot of insurance companies already are using machine learning for quite some time. One obstacle that they're facing is they don't have well-connected data to support the engine in order to generate the result that themselves need or their customers need. Actually, in our daily work, when working with insurance companies, we also face these issues. So I think this is another advance in technology that insurance company can think of. The third one, of course, back to the fundamentals of risk management. But previously, the methodologies that insurance company use to manage the risk, to price the risk, change a lot nowadays. Especially when there are more and more new type of risks coming in, but less insurance companies can underwrite, right? So I think the third advance in the technology is the risk management technologies that they can think of. Then what these advances in technology will help redefine the roles of insurance companies. I would say definitely having those technologies will make the insurance companies getting closer to the customers as well as the data, which a lot of insurance companies has been thinking of they should have and they could have. So this is number one. The second one is make themselves not only a risk manager, but also a service provider somehow. And we're not talking about motor insurance or health insurance because to provide those services, it's way beyond the capabilities of insurance companies, right? But if we are talking about some new type of risks with advances in technology, insurance companies can become a service provider to their customers. For example, nowadays we're talking about cyber insurance, we're talking about gadget insurance, we're talking about some service guarantee insurance as well, right? So for those new type of risks, insurance company can step one forward and then become the service provider besides a risk taker. And then the advances in technology can help them to be part of the value chain instead of be a standalone product that offers to the customers. Because insurance as a risk mitigation tool can be more broad implemented into the nowadays business world or individuals' daily life. However, now people, when they think about insurance, they will think of insurance as a independent product that they need to spend quite some time to understand and think whether they need it. But with advances in technology, insurance companies can actually embed their offerings or their services into a more fragmented value chain. So customers can think actually at the fingertip and decide, okay, I just want to add this as part of the product or as a part of the service that they're buying, right? Just to have that ease of mind. I think those are some of the areas that advances in technology can help redefine or actually help insurance companies to get closer to their customers.
I actually love that answer. I think you have a really well thought out, detailed way in terms of how this new adoption will be taking place. And I think now we can move on to the second question as well for your insights. So, in what ways can insurers prepare for the evolving expectations of the next generation of customers?
Yeah, I think nowadays the next generation themselves don't want to be represented by anyone. So we cannot envision what will be their demand even next day. That actually echo one fact that changes will come more and faster in future for all the industries, especially for insurance, given insurance has an impression in the market as a slow-moving industry. So how insurance company can prepare for that next generation customers, or we can say to prepare to a faster changing world or faster changing demand. I would say one is listen more to your customers and understand what they need, but also try something that they want. So I think insurance companies have been doing customer survey, focus groups for quite some time. Well, nowadays with more data or more touch points, listening to your customers, understanding from customers actually has more ways or more approaches. So this is number one. But I think for quite some time, it's very challenging for insurance companies to actually adopt something which they hear from the customers. For example, if you ask your customers of insurance policy what they want, many of them will say, oh, I want a faster claim process. I want the insurance company to pay more claim for me, which is very difficult to insurance companies because risk management is their fundamental business. So nowadays, I think we should take one step more forward if insurance company want to build up an entry barrier to serve the next generation customers. Try something that the customers really want. So that's why I think we've seen some platforms and also ourselves are adapting some of the approaches to have the customers experience the claim first before we cross-sell other products to them. It's a bold move. It definitely will compromise some of the top lines and bottom lines, but it's a longer-term and sustainable approach to win the customer hearts, I would say. The second one is invest at technology in the longer term with clear targets that are set up to either the digital team or transformation team, right? We've seen a lot of insurance companies sort of sip on how the digital insurance might work, how a certain innovative product might work, and after that, step back. And nowadays, actually, we're seeing more insurance companies stepping back rather than moving forward. I think it's a P&L management business for insurance companies. That's totally fire. But invest at technology is not a short-term gain. And you need to be realistic of the targets that are set up to your digital team, to a tech team, to your innovation team, to a transformation team in different stages. Therefore, as a unit, that unit can be more ready for ever-changing customer demand of next generation. At the same time, try to be more open-minded and set up the right team structure or organization structure to accommodate such changes in future. So I think nowadays, normally digital or innovation or transformation team is not sort of equal to their traditional businesses. where whenever they fight for budget or fight for resources, there are actually disadvantages compared with the major businesses, or even say the product innovations. When we talk with quite some of the insurance companies and ask why that you cannot provide this product which our customer need, a lot of them will come back, oh, because our other channels might not allow it. I think that problem cannot be solved from bottom up. It has to be solved from top down by setting up a clear team structure and a longer term determination on innovation and technology. At the same time, enough support and enough empowerment for them to continue to innovate. Even sometimes that might raise some conflict with their traditional channels or business.
Yeah, I think definitely what you said is true. I think it's that fine line you have to draw in terms of like how do you serve the customers, how do you ensure that things are profitable, there's revenue that can draw on as well, and what technology is able to do for the company. And finally, we can ask the last question. What role will partnerships and ecosystems play in shaping the future insurance landscape?
Okay, so I think now if we look at Southeast Asia and look at ecosystems who are having their foot in the insurance distribution or insurance business overall, there are not many. And it's very concentrated in a way that normally the number one or number two ecosystems in their segment, if they have insurance business, they pretty much will take 70% or 80% of the insurance distribution market share. So it's very concentrated. And I hope to see more. I think the challenges are on both the ecosystem side as well as the insurance company side. So for the ecosystems, they need to understand insurance is not just a way for them to monetize or generate revenue. Insurance can actually help them solve the problems or pinpoints that the customer are facing, as long as we construct the product in a right way. Insurance company also need to develop their diversified strategy to work with ecosystems. The bigger ecosystem partners might be very stringent and very demanding in terms of the product, the journey, the data privacy, so on and so forth. Therefore, the role that insurance company provide is more product producer, risk management, and service provider. Well, for smaller, or we say mid-tail or short-tail ecosystems, when they are striving for growing their main business, insurance is a less important topic for them, then they are more open to adopt what insurance company propose in terms of the product, the customer journey, the connectivity, as well as the service SLAs. So insurance company need to have a more diversified strategy as well as capability to support different ecosystem partnerships. Then what is the role of partnership play in this insurance industry or digital insurance? I think number one, the partnership can really help drive innovation. When we combine ecosystems who understand their customers and who have more holistic data, and one who have professional expertise on insurance or risk management. So combining both in a more sustainable way can actually help drive innovations in terms of the products, in terms of the offerings, or in terms of the servicing. So that is one. The second one is this can provide a buffer or leeway of setting up some best practices in the digital world besides the traditional business models, and then later on can be adopted by incumbent insurance companies. Why this is also important, because like we mentioned, there are certain legacy considerations that insurance company need to take. Therefore, they cannot be very aggressive on trying new models, trying new products. But such partnerships can somehow carve out a sort of a lab for them to try some ideas. And if this work out, and it could be set up as a best practices, and then later on be adopted by insurance companies, right? So I would say the partnership, actually I have a big hope for such partnerships in this region that can really help drive the innovation as well as setting up some good practices or best practices in niche areas, and later on can be adopted by more and more players in the market.
Thanks so much for sharing that. And I think it's very interesting that you mentioned that ecosystems actually drive innovation. So that makes me really excited to hear your panel for tomorrow as well.
Thank you much.
Yeah, and this was Yang from Monee.
Thank you.